Good afternoon. This is Karen Fitzpatrick Tully reporting on behalf of Patriot Peace News, continuing at the wonderful rally this evening with great speakers. We have Dr. Alan Keyes, who is a diplomat, commentator, politician, PhD from Harvard on government affairs, served in the Reagan administration to the United Nations. I have a quote from Reagan. He said, "You did an extraordinary job defending against anti-Americanism." So let's start there, Dr. Keyes. Why are you here today?
Well, I'm here today to support Dan Cox, who's running for governor here in Maryland, the state in which I live, and where I think it is absolutely critically important that we elect somebody like Dan, who has a deep commitment to everything this country requires in terms of respect for God, respect for the founding premises that translate that into our decent liberty and our basic unalienable rights. He's somebody who's going to fight for those things at the same time that he looks for all the different ways to help us work together in order to continue realizing what has now been, I think, a wonderfully extended dream that started with the founding fathers, that this is a country that not only represents hope for this group or that group, but for all humanity.
Absolutely. I think today we need brave people that stand up. You have a history of defending our country and standing up. I know you actually had death threats years ago opposing the Vietnam War. You were anti-abortion protests. You were against same-sex marriage. But I might add, a very kind perspective on same-sex marriage. You don't think that anybody should disown anybody, that we should still be kind about that. And in 2003, you supported publicly displaying the Ten Commandments. You advocated for the display of statues with religious meaning. How can we fight for America, like defend America? We don't like to use that word fight nowadays. How can we defend America? What can we do, Dr. Keyes?
I think the most important thing is to remember that according to the principles that were upraised at the time the country was founded, the United States, though we are now a nation of nations, we have people who come from all over the world, we had to struggle with the consequences of those differences, which have existed everywhere on earth. You have all these people running around trying to pretend that racism and bad feeling among races, that's just white people in America and all of this, that's garbage. It has happened everywhere on earth, and where the greatest breakthrough was made, where a breakthrough was made that required not just that people fight, but that a whole nation basically divide and conquer itself in the name of the premise of God-endowed unalienable rights true for all humanity. That was the United States. And I think that our future lies in returning to that premise now that we know that it works, now that we know that it can in fact produce a people of all nations and all backgrounds and different languages and different beliefs who nonetheless can come together on solid common ground to build not just a nation but the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Absolutely. How can we come together for the Cox-Schiffanelli campaign?
Well, I think the most important thing is to mobilize others. We must make the commitment ourselves to vote for the right people, but then we must be willing to take a stand. And that usually requires in your family circle and in your neighborhood and in your school and so forth and so on, that you have the courage to stand for that individual on the grounds of the things that that person is standing for. And so that means in the case of a Dan Cox, you have got to be somebody who is willing to share the truth about how vital is the return to faith in God. Absolutely. And the understanding that God-endowed unalienable rights are an obligation that we respect one another according to God's will. And I think that that's critically important, because no matter what you're dealing with or what issue you're dealing with, we must be able to discern right from wrong, but we must also be able to present that in such a way that everyone understands that there is a basic level of respect that we owe
Absolutely.
to each other.
I think what's happening, to sum it up, is that people want the government to become God, and we need God to still be God. So I want to thank you so much. Do you have any final words?
Well, I think only one. I hope that people will get behind Dan Cox, that you'll spread the word, and that you will especially emphasize that the crisis of this country is a crisis of our faith. We must return to that faith as articulated in our founding, or we will destroy ourselves.
Is there a place where people can go and read? Do you have a blog? Do you have a Facebook page?
I do a television talk show. Every day on the internet.
Okay, where can we find that?
1 to 3 p.m. You just go to iamtv.us.
Okay,
iamtv.us.
IAMTV. Okay, well, I'm sure you have much for us to learn. Thank you so much. God
Well,
bless
good to
you.
be with
God
you.
bless your work. God protect you, because I know you certainly speak out.
God bless you. Thank you.